Time now for the RV Podcast Interview of the Week. Interesting, entertaining, and helpful information about the RV lifestyle. Here's Mike with this week's interview.
Time now for our interview of the week. And this week we continue our series of talking with other YouTube influencers out there, different folks who are out there doing YouTube stories about RV travel and the RV lifestyle. And I'm really excited about our guests today. They are Marissa and Nate. You know them as the couple from Less Junk, More Journey. They've been traveling across North America now for about 5 years. They started with just their little girl, and she's almost 6 years old now. And just a few months ago, they were joined by a little brother for their daughter, JJ, who is just a bundle of energy, and 2 kids. And this young couple traveling and talking about their adventures and life on the road. They're going to share with us their story and some advice for you who perhaps would like to follow them in having less junk and more journey. We welcome them to the podcast as we start off with another interview of the week. We are delighted to have Marissa and Nate with us now. And you guys are coming to us from the back of your RV, right?
Live from the back of our RV, correct?
Yeah, thanks for having.
We need flashing graphics, live. Yeah.
So it's not too cool.
Yeah. Listen, so many people, of course, know who you guys are. But for those who don't, let's just start with a little bit of the backstory. Introduce yourselves, how long you've been doing this, and how old the kids are.
Wow.
So we're in our 5th year. It initially started, we had a hard time getting getting pregnant with Hensley and everything. And then we finally did have Hensley, and I heard kind of the question or comments, Marissa said I would do anything to be able to spend more time with Hensley. Of course, we had a house, the 4-bedroom, 2-bath, the whole deal. We were looking at getting a bigger house because we had the kid. And I said, well, what about, I didn't know at the time, but people chose to live in RVs even before maybe officially retiree age. I said, what if we did that? Would that be crazy? And I didn't think she'd ever say yes.
Well, the word "would you do anything" got put to the test,
yes,
I guess.
Yes.
But we initially started just looking at downsizing. We didn't even know this lifestyle existed. And then once we started researching downsizing, we come across this lifestyle. And Nathan's like, what if we put it on wheels and travel? And I'm like, that sounds awesome. So our daughter was 1 when we hit the road. She's now about to turn 6. And then
Wow.
We also added a family member along the way, and JJ just turned 10 months. So it's been an awesome adventure.
Now, start a little bit with the title, Less Junk, More Journey. To those of us who do this, that just speaks volumes. But for people who may not be familiar with the lifestyle or just looking into it, talk about that and how that has guided your travels and your whole lifestyle.
It was sort of a light bulb, I think, when we were in the house. We were sitting on the couch, and we had all this room, in the house. But we spent, I swear, 90% of our wake time on that couch, either talking or eating dinner. We ate dinner on the same couch. I'm like, why do we have all this space? What are we doing with all this space? This couch could literally be the same couch in an RV or in a cabin or a chalet or, an Airbnb overseas. It could be anywhere. And so we started thinking, we just got all this stuff, and we couldn't travel like we wanted because we had the overhead of the house and all the stuff. And the more stuff you buy, you just kind of want more stuff. And we found out you fill the space you have. And so it wouldn't matter if we had 300 square feet or 3,000 square feet. It seems like we always filled it up. And I think that maybe that was the epiphany, was that couch. Maybe we should have kept that couch somewhere.
Well, not the couch itself, just the space. We just realized we thought we needed more. Like Nathan mentioned, we found out we were having a baby, and we're like, we need more space. And we're like, we already have 4 bedrooms. Why would we need more space? But it's just this automatic thing that we're taught. It's like, we need more. But we kind of reversed it and thought, actually, what if we had less? How would that change our life? And how much more family time and adventure and travel could we get if we had less instead of more? And that's where the name came from.
Now, has that worked out for you? I mean, it's not an easy lifestyle, despite the fact that we all, in all of our videos, we show them all the good stuff, but it has its challenges. So how has that all worked out for you?
Yeah, it's not perfect. We're not, I think, and that's kind of how our channel started too. I mean, when we first started, there weren't nearly as many like lifestyle vloggers showing maybe more of the real life stuff, breaking down and struggles. It's more like people that did video kind of just sipped wine as the sun was setting behind them. And it's not that there aren't days like that, but most days aren't. I mean, we don't get time to be around a campfire that often. I mean, we still have regular routines and work and, homeschooling now with Hensley. So if you've ever gone a vacation with kids, I mean, it's not that this is a vacation, but we have hard days with kids too. It's not like our kids never, so the struggles you maybe have, or your viewers, your listeners have when they take a trip, I mean, those same struggles are going to happen in an RV too. And maybe even more so because the RV's breaking left and right sometimes, but still the end result, and that's why we use the word journey. You just see it, it's all together. It's packaged as a journey. You look back and it's still experiences. Even if they were tough at the time, they're still experiences. And that's better to me than maybe the mundane 9 to 5 where maybe it's easier at times, but we enjoy the struggle of some of that stuff.
Well, there's ups and downs, and there's a lot of sacrifice doing this lifestyle, but we always say like it's worth all the things we give up. We get way more in return. So there are a lot of things that we have had to give up to live this lifestyle, but just the reward, there's so much payoff. And again, that's why we're in our 5th year. We're having a blast.
How you mentioned the challenge everybody faces too, earning a living. What'd you guys do before? How are you able to leverage that now on the road? Besides being big YouTube stars, of course, that's a help. Everybody thinks everybody gets rich when you're a YouTube star.
Right.
That is not the case. We keep telling them in these videos, but
no.
YouTube was like an accidental thing for us, I think.
Yeah, we don't have somebody like giving us a pedicure right now while we're doing this. It's like no. Like it's a lot. So we're introverts, and so we definitely. Which is like, how in the world are you doing YouTube? I mean, we just talk to the camera like it's one person. If I think about who all's behind it, I'd probably freak out. But, we started off, I was already doing web design, SEO, and a lot of things with clients, mainly from home as it was. Marissa was a nurse, but still nursing has a lot of flexible options. We looked at travel nursing. We went the option where what we call it, batch nursing. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like,
it was just a PRN position where I would come back and just batch all my shifts that I needed for the year. So we would travel for months at a time, come back to a home
so we
base.
could do 2 months.
Yeah, 2 to 3 months, come back to a home base. I would pick up my shifts, then we would go back out. But since then, we've kind of transitioned over time we started just filming our travels because that's how we got started. Is we found a video and we thought, wow, that video inspired us to live this lifestyle. So what if we were that video for other people? How could we help bring light to this community? And so we just started filming, and then the YouTube grew, and we saw a need, and we saw that people enjoyed following along. And so over time, we transitioned our old positions into doing full-time with Let's Jump More Journey.
It was gradual. It was a year and a half maybe before I don't know when we officially, but it was definitely gradual, and we didn't 3 months in just drop our jobs and everything we're doing and start doing YouTube. I mean, it was definitely a lot of work, and a lot of gradual work.
Now you started off in an Airstream, correct?
So we've actually had 5 RVs. We've lived in 4 of them.
I'm aware of the big Airstream, and I'm aware of your new one, but why don't you walk us through that and what you've learned in that process with all those different
So while in a house. So while in the house, my thought was, we'd never even RV'd before. We're like, let's go live in an RV. I was like, well, it might not be a bad idea to buy an RV. And so we bought this, it's an Earthbound Telluride travel trip. You ever heard of Earthbound? Like, there are very few of them. They're only like, they only made like 70 of them, but it's pretty cool. It looked like a little spaceship or something. But we bought the Earthbound. We tried it out, for a couple of camping trips. And said, I kind of like this. But we need a bigger RV. And so instead of the 28-foot travel trailer we were testing, we went and bought a 43-foot fifth wheel. And we started with that. And I quickly realized I'd never driven anything like that. I was like, this is massive. So we had it for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. And I was like, that is way too huge. And then so we went down from that to like a 38-foot motorhome. And that's when we started filming on YouTube. So most people have never even seen the fifth wheel or the first travel trailer. They've seen a little bit of the motorhome. And then we went from the motorhome where like it's still 38 feet is doable, but that's getting into state parks, national parks. It was still a little bit big. So we went down to 31 feet with the Airstream. And that's, most people kind of started with the Airstream. And we had that for 3 years, I guess, the Airstream.
Yeah.
And then we've been in this fifth wheel maybe 7 months, something like that. that we've got.
And how big is your fifth wheel now?
40 feet.
40 feet. That's still pretty big. That's still
it's way different than the Airstream.
Now, you guys have had a rule. I saw in one of your videos that we have a rule. We have the 330 rule, which is no more than 330 miles in a day, or stop by 330, or both if you can, so you can enjoy the area. What is your 222 rule? What is that?
Well, so the video, like, and we've heard of other people having the 222 rule that we talk about. It is similar to yours. It's, don't arrive after 2 p.m., don't drive more than 200 miles, and try to stay at least 2 nights. That's the 222 rule. But our video is about as well, like, especially when you have a family, like, it's okay to have the rule and have a goal. But man, with a family and with things that happen, sometimes, like, in the video, we left thinking we might do the 222 rule, but instead the kids were falling asleep, and so we just ended up driving 7 hours into the night and going through Atlanta at night. And, so, like, we have this rule, but like with kids, sometimes you just go with the flow, and if they're asleep, you just roll with it. So I don't know.
It's just the two of us, and when we do the 330 rule, what we don't tell everybody is 3:30 in the morning can count too. It seems like, particularly like places like Atlanta, if it's 7 at night and traffic's good, we'll go right through it. But it's a goal. I think that's
there you go. Yeah,
it is our goal. When you started 5 years ago, as you said, there were not a lot of people doing this, and we were all just at Tampa together at the Tampa RV show. Were you as amazed as we were at how many other people are now, hey, we have a YouTube channel? I swear, every other person we met.
It's a lot. I remember the first year we were with Tampa, maybe 4 years ago, I guess, something like that. And we had our camera. I don't know that we bumped into much of anybody else, to be honest, in Tampa. But yeah, you can't, there's a lot. There's a lot.
But
and that's a good thing. I mean, people, and it's a growing movement as well. So I think that's not to say that, there's not different niches you could even target more maybe than when we started.
I try to encourage people though. Because there are a lot of channels, but everybody has a different story to tell, and everybody has a different audience that they can connect with. We might not resonate with certain people, but
some people say our accent's like nails on a chalkboard. So you never know.
It is what it is. But so I always encourage people when they say that it's too saturated, it means it will be probably harder to be heard. But whether you affect one person's life or a million people in their life, we all have a story to tell, and I think every story is important. So I think I love that the YouTube channels are growing.
Yeah, I do too. I find that really encouraging, and it's tough. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of talk now about when do you know when to come off the road, and we're starting to see that. Some people, a year or 2 years or 3 years. We're starting our 9th year in just a couple of
years. Wow.
Yeah, we feel like we're everybody's grandparents in our case. So the lessons that you would pass along to those who are at the same place you were when you were sitting on that couch in your home, and they're thinking about this lifestyle, what would you have them consider ahead of time, and your advice about starting it?
It's
we have a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it is about expectations. And so know that your bad days are probably worse than you think they'll be, and your good days are probably better than you think they'll be. And there's a lot that goes into that statement, expectations. And I think the other thing I talk about a lot too is just decision fatigue. It sounds ridiculous, but when you first start, realize that it's not, especially if you haven't RV'd a lot, you got so many decisions. Where am I going to stay? How do I handle this RV? How do I possibly drive this RV I haven't driven before? What am I going to do if something breaks on this RV? How do we meet people? Whereas if you live in a house with a 9 to 5, it's like, where you're going to be sleeping that night. You know your routine, where you're going. So that's something to me that sounds silly. We've had people say it's silly, but I think it's when you first start, you can, so the advice that goes with that is try to take it slower than you want to in the beginning. Because in the beginning, we meet people especially the first 3 months. It's like, go, 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 do. And then they wear themselves out or things are breaking. And then they just start questioning, why am I doing this?
But you're excited.
You are. So it's tough. It's both sides of it.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of expectation and a lot for me is I tell people to know why you're doing it. Like, well, why are you doing this? What's your end game? You have to focus on that, because it is hard to get discouraged or, to think that there are some bad days. But I'm like, well, what's my end game? Why am I doing this? And I'm, for us, we've chosen to do this so we can spend more family time together, so we can see the world. And so that's what I have to focus on, is all the good, and that what our end game for this travel lifestyle is.
I like your description of decision fatigue. It's not that. It's like, where's the nearest supermarket? You got to Google
Exactly.
it. You got to ask somebody, I'm going to have to dump the tanks in a couple of miles. Where am I going to do that? And they don't sell diesel at this time. And I think that sometimes when they watch all of our videos, well, sometimes they see us like that, but they tend to focus on, oh, look at that beautiful scenery. Well, they don't realize that you may have been sitting there in rain and cold for 5-6 days until the weather cleared to get those pretty shots. That's good. So you have 2 children. That has obviously changed a whole lot. But Ainsley, we've kind of watched Ainsley grow on your channel. She doesn't know any other life other than this.
I remember, where were we at? We went somewhere.
And my sisters.
What was it? A Christmas party? Maybe your sisters. Anyways, we went to somebody's house. She was, I don't know, 2, 3. She walked up to the front door and we're like, "Go on in, Hensley." And she just kind of stood there looking at the door, kind of touching the doorknob. She didn't know how to use a doorknob. Like, so she'd always
lived in an RV.
Yeah, RVs have, the latch door to be open. And it's really like, we had a Class A and an Airstream. There aren't doorknobs in those things, the ones we had at least. So I think we have maybe 2 doorknobs in this fifth wheel. But yeah, a lot of your RVs don't even have doorknobs. So that's a pro tip. Your kids may not know what a doorknob is as they grow up.
Spoiler alert, she has learned how to use the doorknob.
She figured it out.
Yeah. But she lives a really cool lifestyle. She wakes up every day and she's like, "Where are we going today? What are we doing?" I mean, she has an adventurous spirit about her, and she loves meeting new people. So I think it's really cool getting to see the world through your kids' eyes. It's just something about watching their light bulbs go off and watching their eyes light up. Even showing up in Florida, this was JJ's first time, and he's like looking up, staring at the trees. It's got moss hanging from it.
A lot of oaks with moss coming down.
Yeah.
Just dying too. I'm still looking at
right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, even the little things, just watching your kids just light up, and there's something special about it.
Every time we talk about life on the road, particularly with a family, I get lots of questions from people about homeschooling. And my daughter homeschools our 2 grandchildren. And so I know how much work that is, but I also know how much joy that is. She talks about it. Advice for folks that are thinking they would have to homeschool their kids. There are lots of resources out there, are there not?
There are. And I think that's what's really cool about homeschooling, is there is something for everybody, and it's not a one size fits all. I mean, that's what's really neat, is you can plan around what your kids' strengths and weaknesses are. It is very overwhelming in the sense that there are so many resources. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I guess for me, this is our first year. I never saw myself homeschooling before, so this is like a new adventure for me. And, she's in kindergarten this year, so I'm trying to just take it slow. And I want her to enjoy learning. I want to teach her how to find answers. I think that that's the most important thing we can pass on, is I'm not going to be there holding your hand, explaining everything the rest of your life. You need to figure out how to find these answers. So that's what's really great about homeschool, is it's so hands-on. I mean, we're studying something and we can go to it and actually see it. We watched a rocket launch today in Florida, or, we're in sea caves in Maine looking at, marine life or whatever it is. I mean, she gets a firsthand view of learning, and I just think there's something really incredible about that, and something special about being on the road in an RV.
That's great. Last question is, how do you guys approach the end game? I mean, do you see an end to being on the road all the time? If you must talk about that. Do you make a decision every year? We're going to go another year. Looking, as the kids grow, as you guys keep going, how have you thought about how long you want to keep doing this?
I mean, it's morphed. I know when we started, we said we will give this a year, and I'm glad we made ourselves make that decision, because I'm telling you, like the first 6 months, there was a few times where tears were shed.
We
and
thought,
words were
what have we
screamed.
done? Yeah.
So I think it's good when you start to pick whatever that number is. It might be 6 months, a year, a decade, probably not a decade. It's just, you're going for a decade.
Yeah.
I am
for
going
us,
for a decade.
normal
Yep.
human beings, that's awesome. Like the decade club. We don't meet. That's.
Hey, I hope we're in the decade.
We'll
club.
see. We'll see. But we don't. I think that's about right. I think we plan the next year, like in general, where we kind of want to go, what we want to do. So if we ever were going to come off the road, I think we would probably know maybe 6-12 months in advance to kind of prep for that. And I think for us, we've seen so many benefits of living small. It would be really tough to go back, at least to what we had before, with a large house and the 4-2 and the insurance overhead and the taxes overhead. And because, it may morph over time where we are or what we're doing. We kicked around overseas travel and some other stuff, but because we don't have too much overhead, and I know you've talked about flying in different places and getting RVs, and the flexibility is there because you just don't have too many commitments with that RV like you would with a house. It's one thing to put an RV in storage. It's another to find a way for somebody to watch your house for 2 months. I mean, it's two totally different animals.
Yeah.
We've made a commitment to each other too, that we're open and honest about where we are. And if ever we saw that this was something that one of us wasn't enjoying or it wasn't best for our kids, then we would make changes. But right now we're like, we absolutely love this. We don't know if that means an RV the rest of our life, but we have said, we know we always want to live small and we always want to travel, whatever that means. But that's kind of our inspiration to it all. And we might find different vessels or destinations at the end of that. But as long as we're happy as a family and we're all enjoying it and growing together, then we're going to keep going for it.
Well, that is very good news to all of us who follow you guys. And we have all become part of your family. It's an amazing thing, isn't it, about the power of YouTube, how much it really does build a community. And
it's like an extended family.
Yeah. So we're glad that you're staying on the road, and we look forward, Jennifer and I do, to seeing you guys out there in person again and spending some time face to face around the campfire. And we'll help you hold that little JJ. Everybody needs a little help.
Hey, we'll take you up on that offer.
We need a little kid fix every couple of weeks. So thank you guys so much for making time. I know our audience, most of them know who you guys are and have followed you. Are going to enjoy seeing you like this. And for those who didn't, I hope they run over, and we'll put the links below in the description, and they can learn all about less junk, more journey. Marissa, Nate, thank you guys so much for being on.
No problem.
Thanks for having us.
Again, thanks to Marissa and Nate for making time for all of us. And we will put links to their YouTube channel and their blog and all their different communities. We'll put them right in the description below. Meantime, thank you guys so much for watching the interview of the week. We have new videos 3 times a week here on the RV Lifestyle channel. Every Saturday and every Sunday is our live question and answer stream on YouTube. And then, of course, our interview of the week on every Wednesday. So we'd appreciate it if you do us a favor and first give us a like for this video. Just click that thumbs up like button. And then if you haven't already done so, would you subscribe to this channel? When you do so, if you click that little bell icon, you will be able to be notified when we have new videos online. Thank you so much for watching. Happy trails.